Dean Miguel, distinguished faculty and staff, friends and family, graduating JDs, and fellow LLMs, SPILs, and JSDs. Welcome and good morning. It is my distinct pleasure and true honor to have the opportunity to address you all on behalf of the advanced degree students today. Class of 2016, holy smokes, we made it. Today we are officially graduates and alumni of Stanford Law School. Congratulations to us. Every one of us today here has traveled a remarkable journey to reach this moment. For the advanced degree students, this journey started 10 months ago, in which we in full excitement arrived at Stanford to meet our future colleagues and to be part of the Stanford student body. Little did we know that we would soon be spending one of the best years of our lives with some of the greatest minds in the country. We have throughout these months persevered, debated, learned, and soared, all alongside our fellow JD classmates. We have turned into comparative thinking lawyers who expressed our views, shared insights of our respective countries' legal systems, and vigorously got involved in class discussions, associations, and student journals. However, well, there goes. However, we owe this day not only to ourselves, but also to the ones who stood by us throughout this journey. Many of us have crossed land and sea, thousands of miles away from comfort and familiar faces, and yet we could always feel their presence. Thank you to our family and friends for your conditional support and your encouragement from across the world. We have been incredibly lucky to have you. The 2016 graduating class of advanced degree students consists of 67 individuals hailing from 31 countries with a total of 22 spoken languages. This is diversity per definition, which also shines through in our professional backgrounds. Among us, we have law clerks from the Supreme Court of Korea. We have also law clerks from the Court of Appeals of New Zealand. We have legislators from China. And we also have several former employees of United Nations, the World Trade Organization, and the World Bank, as well as law firm associates, partners, and in-house counsels from some of the most prominent and successful companies and firms in the world. We are an ambitious group of individuals who courageously embarked on the Stanford journey and who can today proudly call ourselves Stanford Law School alumni. Stanford, thank you. We are incredibly lucky to have been part of this amazing school and its student body. Incredibly lucky to have had the opportunity to meet and learn from the law faculty and all our JD classmates. And luck is actually a topic that I'm going to focus my speech on today, and more specifically the concept of luck. So I know it might sound a bit all too abstract for us lawyers to understand, but I'm sure you can identify with this theory. I am certain that upon announcing our admission as JDs or advanced degree students to Stanford Law School, all of our friends and family members overwhelmingly congratulated us and said, "You are so lucky." This has been a red thread throughout our time at Stanford. I recall my first week here at Autumn Quarter, where I took a class with a guest lecturer who would end every class session by saying, "You guys are so lucky, you're at Stanford, oh my God, you're lucky you got in." I was like, okay, well, and this continued as the weeks passed by, but with professors, lunch speakers, and students from other schools saying, "Oh my God, you're lucky to be at Stanford, you're so lucky." And I agree, we indeed truly are lucky to be at Stanford and to have had the opportunity to be attending Stanford Law School. But our admission and our accomplishments was never pure luck. So Chip Denman, a statistician and the co-founder of National Area Capital Skeptics, coined the term "luck is probability taken personally." We have all worked hard for our admission at Stanford. Some of us have planned our advanced degree studies for years, saving for our tuition fee, studying abroad, publishing articles, and making a name for ourselves. Luck probably played a small role in our admission decision, but we all know that in the end of the day, the probability of us being admitted was all dependent on the amount of hard work that we had put down. And hard work does not equal luck. It is no secret that we are all It is no secret that we are all amazingly ambitious and hardworking individuals, and that is something that we should all remember as we go forward with our professional and private lives. To the LLMs and SPILs, I'm so proud and honored to be graduating with you today. Our common accomplishments, our extraordinary fun times that we've had while living on the farm, and the little bit of luck that actually brought us here, has now left us united and part of the Stanford family and part of the Advanced Degree Network, which covers all corners of the world. As we today end this chapter of our lives and leave Stanford, we must remember that it was never pure luck that brought us here, but our commitment to hard work and our mission to be our best selves. And these two factors are key components that we will carry with us while serving clients worldwide. Thank you, Stanford Law School, for this year. Thank you for the knowledge that you have given us. And thank you for the opportunity of a lifetime. We are forever grateful. Thank you.
My parents didn't know that I was giving this speech, so they look overwhelmed. Good afternoon. Last year, Dean Erwin Chemerinsky of UC Irvine came and gave a talk here, and he began his talk by telling us the story of a young woman named Carrie Buck. So I'm going to do the same. In 1906, it made it easy for me. In 1906, Carrie Buck was born in Charlottesville, Virginia. She was a typical young woman of average intelligence, but at the age of 16, Miss Buck became pregnant. She was unmarried, and only decades later would evidence reveal that her pregnancy was a result of her having been raped. Her foster parents had her committed to the Virginia Colony for the Epileptic and Feeble-Minded. The grounds for her commitment were feeble-mindedness, incorrigible behavior, and promiscuity. While she was committed, the colony's head physician performed forceful surgery on Carrie Buck to have her sterilized. This surgery was legal under the then recently enacted Virginia Eugenical Sterilization Act. After Carrie Buck's sterilization, her challenge to the act reached the Supreme Court, and there, in an 8-1 decision, the court upheld the Sterilization Act as constitutional. As part of the opinion of Buck v. Bell, which happened to be for a few of us the first opinion that we read in law school, Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes penned an avowal that will forever be enshrined in our case books. Many of us know it. 3 generations of imbeciles are enough. It's taken nearly 90 years for scholars and researchers to begin to uncover the true details of Miss Buck's story and to begin the process of remolding her legacy. In the study of law, the individuals who are the legal system's participants, they become something less than flesh and blood human beings and something closer to mere case identifiers. Carrie Buck of Buck v. Bell, Fred Korematsu of Korematsu v. United States, Oliver Brown and the other plaintiffs of Brown v. Board of Education of Topeka, Edie Windsor of United States versus Windsor. And this makes sense, and it's right, because that's how our legal system is organized, that's how it can continue to operate. An essential piece of our role is to extract the threads of the rules that those cases stand for, and then to knit those threads together into what we define the law to be. And that is how we advocate, and that is how we advocate effectively. But I would argue there's another piece to this role, that if extracting those threads is the mind, then this other piece is the heart of our role. And that is recognizing and honoring the human beings whose daily lives generate the opinions that we read, to act as stewards of their stories, and to recall the details that make them who they are. I began law school by delivering a speech, and I'm ending law school delivering a speech. The second of those speeches is obviously this one. The first of those speeches was a eulogy. It was a eulogy for my middle sister, Christine, who at the age of 23 died by suicide. It was about a week before classes began here. And I struggled in writing her eulogy to communicate to people who she really was. So I clung to the details. And many of us who lost loved ones know that that's sometimes one of the only things that you have, those details that feel like they make them real, that feel so irrelevant in life. And so in her eulogy, I talked about how when she was a kid, she loved Dalmatians, and how as an adult, she loved hiking in Yosemite and bike riding, how she was irreverently funny and unequivocally brilliant. I think, too, though, that I focused on those details because at some level, I wondered whether, as much as we loved her, Christine felt that the world didn't see her, that she felt that the world didn't know her, and that was part of the reason that she chose to leave it. And this was the lens through which I experienced law school. On the days when studying left us mired in papers and reading, I wondered, honestly, how one goes about practicing the law in a way that declines to reduce its players to the surnames of case titles. Because we have been asked, or forced, however we want to put it, to read, I would say forced, to read thousands of cases. It means that we carry, collectively and individually, one of the greatest aggregations of knowledge of the people whom the legal system has touched. And that is a powerful privilege. But because of the scale of that knowledge and the demands of our lives, because we're human beings too, it's a privilege that's difficult to wield. But this brings me to our class, to the class of 2016. Because what I saw when I entered law school, what I have been so genuinely struck by, is how frequently so many students here came to know those with whom they worked, not as names, but as people. Whether the matter involves structuring a deal with business leaders or helping to obtain someone's social security benefits for them. One of our classmates this year, as just a small example, represented a man who spent 6 years in jail, not after his trial, not during his trial, but awaiting trial for a crime that he didn't commit. And she came to know this person. And here are some things she came to know about him. His name is Charles. He used to work as a power washer. He loves to work. He has 5 kids. He's very spiritual. He's soft-spoken. Because of the advocacy that was provided to Charles, it won't take over 90 years to uncover who he was, because there's at least one person who chooses to know who he is. There will be thousands upon thousands of stories that are obviously, inevitably lost to history. But what little we can do is have the grace and the presence of mind to make each person we encounter now, today, feel more human. And what this means in practice, and it isn't always possible, but it will be sometimes, is to use our power to demonstrate to others that we will ask who they are and what they love and who they love, and we will remember their details, and we will make at least one of their memories our own, and we will hold it and we will carry it forward so that the law can be more than just a cloth we weave out of the rules that we read, but rather something more like a cloak, something with heft, something protective, something humanizing. Because that's the heart of our job. Assuring others that the world sees them. Assuring others that the world knows them. Thank you.